This movie is about a lot of different things that I kind of connected to on parallel levels all at once. Uh, Matt, Damon, and I had been planning on starting a new company. This ended up calling it Artist Equity. That was really designed around rewarding and compensating artists in front of and behind the camera in a different way, and making films differently that would be more conducive to doing the kind of work we wanted to do. And then I got this story, this script about a company that eventually made the decision to change the way it both compensated an athlete, in this case, probably the greatest athlete in modern history, or greatest competitor for at least, and also the way it connected him and his identity to what they were selling. And it was really inspiring. I was concerned because I wanted to make sure that it did justice to the story, because Michael Jordan is such an important cultural figure and so meaningful. The story was about something that I hadn't even anticipated, and it really moved me. It moved me to think of being a young person and trying to make your way in the world, being perhaps from a marginalized community, and feeling as though you were taking this giant leap from your high school to college to all of a sudden being thrust in front of the whole world. I thought that young man, all those young men, would have to, and young women, would have to rely on parents that were really meaningful and important. And I thought, no one loves you more than your mother. So I realized that that was really the protagonist of the story, that the hero of this story would be Dolores Jordan, and that she would be emblematic of many, many mothers who have done this kind of work and sacrifice and this kind of dedication. Michael mentioned, he wanted Dolores Jordan to be played by Viola Davis, which is kind of like saying you want to pick Michael Jordan for your basketball team. And so he set out to write a part that would be worthy of Dolores and worthy of Viola. And so both these dreams of mine came true. I got to work with Chris Tucker and Viola Davis, and they came and contributed and invested in this story and brought their voices and knowledge and gifts. And it became a true collaboration where I was really honored to work with the finest, loveliest, most talented people I've ever had the chance to in my life, including my best friend. Nike was the first company to really embrace the notion that the athletes who delivered the value, who represented the meaning and the value that they were mingling with their brand, deserved to be compensated in a way that was commensurate with the value they were delivering. And that was a really meaningful change. This was a time before we kind of took for granted that people could be brands. Brands were, Sears or Kmart or Cheerios. They weren't people. I'm old enough now to see a real difference in between the way that's looked at currently and the way it was when I was a kid. Part that I got really into in the course of making this movie was sneaker culture. I didn't really understand how interesting and how meaningful the construction of shoes have become, and how people really infused their own artistry and humanity and personality, both in the construction of them, the collaboration in them, the way that they paid homage to people to whom they looked up and admired. And I started to really recognize just that as an art form. I wanted to make movies, if I could, that would touch people, that would affect them in some way. It's the beauty of this art form that it transmits as best a feeling. Movies should move us at their best. There's a reason why I love doing this. It should be entertaining. You should like it. You should have fun. You should love going to the movies. I love it. And I wanted to do something that respected that and also played to a whole audience. I think that's reflected in the movie. So I hope you'll get that experience. what I have to offer here is respect and homage and appreciation for Dolores Jordan and women like her, and for her son, who somehow managed to seek and capture that incredibly elusive and rare magical genius that we all are so fascinated by and moved by. And somehow that tells us maybe I can do something that seems too hard for me to do. I can deal with a problem that seems overwhelming, or I can accomplish that thing that I dared not dream I could accomplish. And I think that's a really important thing for people to have, something to hold on to, something to look at. And I wanted the movie to feel like that. I wanted to make a story that was hopeful, that moved people. But I wanted to make people feel good and feel as though they could be better and the world could be better and think great things can happen.